is impossible, but there's nobody else I want by my side to stand in with me to take this fight through the rise and fall. With our fearless hearts, we could beat the odds, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends if we all go down. If our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. We could be legends.
We can live forever.
We dream so colorful. Oh, we love so strong. The world is relentless, the city won't sleep. It hardens your soul, brings you to your knees. But we can face it all. With our fearless hearts, we could beat the odds, and we could live for 1,000 years. We could be legends if we all go down. If our time is now, we could let everyone know we were here. We could be legends.
We can live forever.
What's up, guys? Welcome to FPL Today Live. We are Game Week 8 FPL Q&A Live. Hopefully I'm going to do a couple of these before Game Week 8 starts, and hopefully the audio is working. You know, I'm always a bit worried about the audio, hence the headphones in, just so I can hear myself when you guys can hear me, to make sure everything's sounding alright. A couple of bits of admin, I guess you could say. We now have sponsorship activated on this channel, so if you want to sponsor the channel and the live streams, then you can. There should be a button underneath the video, under the stream, saying sponsor. It is £5 a month, but if you want to do that, if you don't want to do that, that's fine. So that is there for you guys, along with all the other ways you can support the channel, just stuff that's opening up. Thanks to your guys' support in making me now over 4,000 subscribers strong, so thank you very much for that. Also, a quick moment just to say condolences to anyone that may have had someone in Vegas after what happened in Vegas, all the stuff that happened out there. I actually had a friend out in Vegas. Fortunately, they are okay, but having listened to them and listened to the story that they had to tell, it seems like a very crazy situation. So, heartfelt condolences to anyone that is affected by that tragedy. Just want to put that out there. And let's get on with FPL today. So we have a bunch of questions from Game Week 8's video, what we learned. Again, if you didn't watch the previous video, what we learned is my quick response to what happened during the game week. During the weekend, so as soon as I can do a video, I do a video. It may be before the game week's over, it may not be. But the reason for it is sometimes I can't make a video until later on in the week, and then it's a bit late because I've only got a small window to make videos for each game week. I've forgotten his name, but the guy that does Let's Talk FPL, he also mentioned it in his video. He's just hit 5,000 subscribers, so if you haven't checked out his channel, Let's Talk FPL, go type that into YouTube and check him out. He's growing really quickly, so go and support his channel as well. You know we like to share the love around here. And yeah, so I do videos when I can, and I've got a small window of about 5 days, maybe 4 days to get videos out. So what we learned was the video I put out Monday, straight after the game week. And we have some questions, so we'll quickly go through them while we let people join the chat, and then we'll try and go through all the chat questions. So the first question we've got is Saddam Hussein. That's that name rings a bell. His question is, hi guys, what do you think of these options? We've got Ramsey and Vardy, or Hazard and Niasse. I know I'm saying that wrong. What I would say is Ramsey and Vardy have both had spells in the Fantasy Premier League where they've been absolutely amazing. So I would definitely consider them over Niasse. I don't know how to say his name, so apologies. Because he doesn't have the record that those two have. Of course, Hazard is one of the best players in Fantasy Premier League, in the Premier League, in the world. So he's always a good shout to be considering. But if you're pairing two players up, I would probably look at those two, option A. But of course, you guys can leave in the comments what your thoughts are about that. Can we survive without Kane, is the question from the Badolf. I think you can. There was a period last season where you didn't have Kane, and Son stepped up, did really well for a period. You've got players that can score goals, so you've got Llorente now as well. He may be able to fit into the side with the likes of Davies and Trippier putting crosses into the box. Charlie Harper asks who to place for Firmino. Vardy is the obvious option, but who could be cheaper enabler at the moment? I think the really cheap enabler at the moment is Niasse, which is why people are considering him. He did start in Game Week 8, Game Week 7, but he didn't get on the score sheet, didn't really return any points. So that is a bit disappointing from that perspective. Anyone else around that budget? I mean, you only have to go down to 7 million to make a bit of money. So Firmino to Javier Hernandez, although Javier Hernandez isn't playing up front. Julius Carlson recommends Rashford. If Rashford can keep the game time and keep the returns, I definitely think Rashford could have a great season this season. Shane Long, Southampton, I've not really seen impress me as far as an attacking unit goes, so I wouldn't really look at Shane Long. Sorry, I'm just checking my comments. Eating pasta with Diet Coke, nice-ish. I just want to make sure you're actually hearing me, because I heard myself, but sometimes you never know what happens on YouTube. Charlie Harper, I was considering Danny Ings. He could do the trick. Danny Ings? Where is Danny Ings at the moment? Anyway, before I get sidetracked and my brain starts thinking, where do you collect your in-depth stats like minute per chance created from? Okay, Aaron Cruz, I actually collect all of my stats from a website called Fantasy Football Scout. It is a membership site, but they collate all the information for you into a nice easy table which you can look and check out. And I'm actually playing my own iPad there, and yeah, I can literally click minutes per chance created, and I will get everyone's minute per chance created per position, defender, midfield or striker. I can see who has the best, I can see who has the worst. Hopefully in this stream I will go over some stats for you guys as well. Now we're 7 game weeks in, we actually have a decent amount of stats to be looking at. Amvi Addict did really well, he scored 70 points, well done mate. We have people considering their wildcard. I'm not going to rate teams. If I do that, it will be a separate thing. But I would suggest if you haven't wildcarded yet, between Game Week 7 and Game Week 8 is a good time because you have the most time to think about everything and you can adapt to what happens in the international break. Suraj Karanji says, how about Sterling in for William or Mkhitaryan? Got extra cash. I would say Sterling, if he can keep playing. I just worry about rotation, but he's definitely getting returns in. He's the highest scoring midfielder in the Premier League at the moment, so you can't really argue with those stats. So I don't know. I like the way Mkhitaryan's looked at Man United, and I need some sort of Man United coverage. I know he blanked over the game week just gone, but I need someone from Man United in. Maybe I could save some money on Mkhitaryan and then bring in Lukaku instead of Morata, who is of course now injured. That would probably be the move I would consider making, but then it would have to be bringing someone in with two moves to get rid of Mkhitaryan for me, because that Man United side looked very good, so I would want some sort of coverage there. So that is all the questions on the video that was released before this stream. If you do want to get questions answered, and I know I'm not the best at streaming when I'm meant to, but if you ask questions on my videos, there's of course a whole community that can answer as well, which you just saw in the comments there. Also, if I do stream an FPL Q&A, which I hope to do at least once a week, I know I missed last week, bad JNO. If I do, I will be answering the questions from the previous videos for the game week. So make sure in the comments when you see one of my videos, if you have a question, ask it, and then you may see it answered in a live stream. And then quickly before we get to the chat, we also want to have a look at how my team did. As you can see, my team got absolutely carried by Harry Kane and Ben Davies. Harry Kane getting 26 points as he was my captain. Ben Davies getting 16 points for a total of 42 points from two players. And I got 60 points in total. So only 18 points from the rest of my side. Could have got a bit more if I put Ben Mee on the pitch, but I didn't think they'd get a clean sheet against, I believe it was Everton. Yes, it was Everton. I was hoping one of these players would score some points. I went for Nias because that now leaves me some money to spend. 2.1 million in the bank with two transfers over the international game week. So I now have some manoeuvrability depending on what happens. For instance, Morata looks very unlikely to be playing in game week 8, so I can transfer him out and then look at bringing in a striker, and then I can also facilitate a more expensive striker by saving some money on someone else. So that is all of that said and done. So we now have 20 people watching. What we'll do now is a quick admin update again. Condolences out to anyone that was affected by what happened in Vegas. I had a friend out there. I know how crazy it was out there, so condolences to anyone that had that happened. We now are a sponsored channel, so as well as doing super chats, which is a way you can donate to the channel and get your questions answered straight away, we also have sponsorship. You can be a sponsor of the channel. There should be a link or a button just under this stream, and it's £5 a month, and that is your way of supporting the stream, and it might get me off my arse to do a bit more streaming, so that's always a benefit of it. That being said, I would like to apologise as well for less videos than I planned the last 2 weeks, because an opportunity has arisen in the YouTube community. If I get it, and it is an audition, if I get the role, I will be working on a channel a lot bigger than mine. Still be doing this one, don't worry about that, but it will enable me to do more and potentially bigger things and become more well known in the YouTube space. So I'm looking forward to hearing back about that. But yeah, I had an audition process to go through, so sorry if I've not been as active as you guys would have liked me, especially with the streaming. And let's get into the chat. So I see you, Jeff Holt, but I'm scrolling back to the top just to see if I can answer everyone's questions, but I see you. Alright, so if you wonder why I'm looking down, my iPad is down here, so I can see all the questions. We have someone playing FIFA. Ismail Mayet playing FIFA. You should be focusing on my beautiful face, mate. What are you playing FIFA for? Let me know, Ismail, if you're playing Ultimate Team, what console you're playing on. Just quickly, J&O, my gaming channel, a couple of days ago had a Pro Clubs video put out on it. So if you do like FIFA, go check out my J&O channel. I hope to be putting videos out there sporadically, but more like a fun thing once a week instead of any kind of series, purely because this is my main focus of the channel at the moment. So there's that. I can't really focus on 2 channels. I've tried and it didn't work. It did work for a little bit, but it was really taxing. So this is my main channel, but if you do like gaming videos, once a week you'll get a gaming video from there. Jacob Limpar Lance, wildcard this week. I would suggest wildcard this week if you want to. Playing it during international breaks means you are 100% flexible in responding to any injuries that come up from the international break. So I definitely think it's a good use of the wildcard. By the way, I hate the international break. I think it's overrated. Yeah, it's just not that good. I do need to figure out a better place to put my iPad because I'm a bit conscious that I'm not looking at you guys. I'm always looking down. Okay, hi all, when is Morata back? I've not heard anything about a concrete date, to be honest. Hopefully it's soon because Morata's looked good. And he is up there amongst the strikers for underlying stats. And he has been performing. There was, of course, that game against Stoke where, again, he helped me rise in rankings. For those of you that care, my ranking is now 824,721st. So a lot better than it was. Some of you know I was at 1.7 million 2 or 3 weeks ago. So I've definitely jumped up a bit. I swear you had more than 4.8k subs. I wish... we're getting there though, Ayush. We're getting there. 1.5 months out, they said. I heard it was going to be a while. I heard that it was worth transferring him out. So thanks for that, Bill X. Hi to Teza Nico. I'm not sure what you're getting on to there, Dejan. Zaka. I think that's Zaka. XA. Evan J. Fox says he hasn't started off too well. Any tips? I would definitely look at finding out as much about underlying stats as possible, because whilst you may not have had the best start, now we can look at who has the most chances, who creates the most chances, and from that we can see who's more likely to get FPL points. Very rarely does a player upset their underlying stats. By that I mean, if a player has good underlying stats, usually, as well as conversion, they usually continue to get FPL points. You do have instances where someone has good underlying stats and doesn't score. Coutinho had a season where he had great underlying stats, but a lot of his shots came from outside the box, and if you didn't notice that stat, you necessarily would put him in and then it'd upset you a bit by not getting on the scoreboard. However, of course, Coutinho then could have 2 or 3 game weeks where he was absolutely on fire. There were a few players who didn't have good underlying stats but continued to score FPL points. Most recently, Etienne Capoue. He didn't have the best stats, but there was a small period where he got lots of FPL points. I believe Aaron Ramsey in his breakout season and Yaya Toure both had stats in the season where it looked like they were very defensive-minded midfielders, but they'd get into the box at the right time and score. And they didn't necessarily have the most chances in a game, but their conversion of those chances was high enough that they were getting good FPL points. So I'll definitely have a look at all the stats and then try and pick your team around that. There's a reason I have every player I have in my team, apart from maybe Tom Carroll, who got put in there as the cheap midfielder and hasn't really done much since, which is disappointing, but c'est la vie. Ayush Falur just saying getting nearly 5k views on videos. Yeah, Ayush, I think a lot of that is the fact that I try and get... I've noticed which 2 of my videos do the best, so I try and get them out first. That helps me get the amount of views. I've noticed captaincy candidates wasn't everyone's cup of tea. Ones to watch didn't or isn't doing as well as what we learned, and also isn't doing as well as my team. I stayed away from doing a my team, but it's clear it's what people like, and I've kind of figured out a way to do it which is still my style instead of just talking about my team. I just wanted to stay away from talking about my team. I wanted to give you guys advice and tips at the same time. So I feel like my team is a bit of both now, and it's doing really well. So that is good. Hosselu is cheap. Hosselu, I'm looking at him because at the moment, I'm pretty sure Hosselu has started most games. And he has great underlying stats. He's just really bad in front of goal. I'm hoping that is just an unfortunate circumstance or something along those lines. But yeah, apart from the first 2 games, he's played 70 minutes or more in every fixture since game week 3. Now, if he could just start converting those chances, then he'd be a much better option. Martial, again, I'm worried about rotation with Martial. I think Rashford seems to be the favoured young player there. Dejan Seko, hey JNO, right time to be hazardous. That's a good one, I like that. Potentially. It could be, with Morata gone, they're going to need someone to put those chances away, and we all know what Hazard can do. You're right, Kenyan YouTube Trends, how you doing? Should we stick with Alonso? Alonso's the type of player that if you go and get rid of him, he'll probably go and score 2 goals next game week. I am considering getting rid of him because 7 million is a lot, and all of his stats seem to have come from that Tottenham game. As we know already, there's defenders scoring as many points, if not more, than Alonso. I believe both Tottenham defenders have scored more than him. Where is Alonso in the rankings? 32 points, and he's behind Hegazi, Maguire, Bellerin, Trippier, Lascelles, Yoshida. There's a lot of players that score more points. Azpilicueta seems a good straight swap, which would actually gain you 0.4 million. But for me, Ben Davies has been on fire. I wish I didn't get rid of him for that 1 game week because I missed out on some big points there. If you want to save some money, Kieran Trippier is at 5.4, but the problem is Aurier could rotate with him, and it's about figuring out which of those rotations are going to play most of the Premier League games. So I probably wouldn't look at anyone but Ben Davies and just hope he keeps out Danny Rose, although of course he did get replaced with Son in 1 game, so that's not great. But yeah, I'm definitely considering getting rid of Alonso. Tessa Nico looking for the 3rd game week in a row above average points. Well done. I believe I've said what my rank is already in a different answer. Ayush Valur. I, for 2 or 3 game weeks, said don't go with Alonso. There'll be better value out there. Then I crumbled to the stats. The underlying stats show that he is the defender that gets the most chances in the league, easily. That is why I took the plunge on him. It's probably backfired. I probably should have stuck with my gut feeling. I didn't. I kept seeing him in the stats, kept seeing him get the most attempts on goal. So I folded, and I'm regretting it because I feel like my midfield could be a little bit stronger if I didn't have Alonso. I mean, I could save 1.5 million on him if I got a 5.5. Like, if I got Nacho Monreal, I'd have been happy with myself. At 5.5 million, Arsenal defender, capable of getting clean sheets. Phil Jones, capable of getting clean sheets. You've got Eric Bailly. I'd save 0.8 million by getting Eric Bailly. Who would have, or Kyle Walker, I'd save 0.5 million. So yeah, I'm again saying the words I said 3 or 4 game weeks ago. I'm not sure Alonso's worth it, but knowing my luck, he'll go and score big points. We then got Sterling or Silva. Silva for me, he's more nailed on. He seems to be one of the first names on the Pep Guardiola team sheet and is creating a lot of chances. Thomas McCarthy, you alright mate? And Jeff, I did already say hello to you, but hello again. Tessa Nico hasn't used any chips. I don't think I've used any of my chips yet either. Ayush Valur, if you're talking about my opportunity, it's not a FPL related channel. It is a football related channel, and it would be similar to my Fantasy Premier League stuff. I'd still be talking about football. It would still be in this lovely bedroom that I've got. I'd still be looking at stats. I'd be looking at news and that kind of thing. So yeah, it'd be slightly different, but still similar to what I do now. And of course, I'll thrive to still get 2 videos out a game week. The 2 really popular ones, of course, and then try and do FPL Q&A. I think that's going to be my setup. I'm going to try and do FPL Q&A as a live stream once a week. Then hopefully a Rate My Team live stream with, say, 2 or 3 teams, but we'll see if I can fit that in. And then my team and what we learned will be my 2 main shows. Mickey or no Mickey? I think people are a bit worried about Mickey a bit too soon. He's not had many bad game weeks, and people are already wanting to jump ship. Ayush Falur needs a £6 million striker. What I do hate about the FPL website is if you go forwards, right, and you go to prices, why isn't there a 6 million? Why is it 7.2, 7.7, 8.2? What's all that about? Okay, so Abraham, I think, still has decent fixtures, but I don't like the way Swansea are attacking. Okazaki is quietly scoring points, but I think game time risk. 2 fixtures there where he didn't exactly play that much, but he's definitely doing bits. Hosselu save you a lot of money there. He's managed to score in 2 game weeks out of 7, but his underlying stats suggest he should be putting away more chances. It's difficult though. I went for this because it was 5 million and I took a punt because of that 11 points from 35 minutes. Then he played 81 minutes and scored 2 points and got -5 on the bonus point system. -5, that's bad. Sacco has looked decent if he keeps getting game time. But yeah, there isn't many options standing out at the moment. I mean, you could go Andy Carroll. He is leading the line. But yeah, I mean, if I had to pick one, the whole Nias option is very, like, tempting because it's 5 million. Calvert-Lewin, if he could get more game time. Hosselu is the one that the stats are suggesting to me should start scoring, but that, of course, isn't guaranteed at all. And I've now got to unlock my iPad because I talked for too long. Best 3 defenders for the next 3 game weeks. That one I will try and get back to. I think that needs a bit more looking into. Stephen Ward, Mitish Nair. Stephen Ward looks really good. If you actually look at his performances over 7 game weeks, he looks like a better option than me. So that's definitely a good shout. Tessa Nico thinking of selling Firmino to buy a premium defender. I'm not sure there's any defender that stands out head and shoulders above the rest, apart from Ben Davies, but there's rotation risk there. I had a terrible week. I had Dele Alli, Ericsson, Mickey, Silva, Morata and Lukaku. Ouch. Lukaku scored though, so Zvids, I hope that's better for you. What I would say, Zvids 100, don't rush into a wild card just because of a bad game week. I've had a couple of bad game weeks, but then I kept faith with Kane and he's come through for me 2 game weeks in 3. Hazard and Muss and Mickey out. Hazard is a great player, and it's always worrying when you don't have someone like Hazard or Sanchez, because if they have a good game week, you're screwed. Mickey still looks good to me. Just in that Crystal Palace game, the points got shared around more than they had previously. Previously, Mickey, Pogba and Lukaku got the lion's share of the points, of Rashford and Martial also contributing. But in that game, Crystal Palace, Fellaini, Mata, other players got involved. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the case always. I would wait a bit until I see Hazard starting to perform before I jumped on it, because he is back, but he may not be back to match sharpness, so I wouldn't jump in there right yet. Although if you do jump early and you manage to get some big points, that does help you, of course. Who else gets a lot of bonus points? Let's actually see if my website tells me that. I don't think it does. Alright, so Fantasy Football Scout has BPS Plus. So let's have a look at that. Oh, I don't have it. Oh, there it is. So cost minutes, recoveries, CBI tackles, bonus points. Okay, I can't just find out who has the most bonus points, but I can see who gets the most BPS. Phil Jones, Azpilicueta and Monreal get the most BPS. 201 BPS. Basically what BPS is a bonus point system, and in a game the more BPS points you get, the more likely you are to get those bonus points of 3, 2 and 1. It's calculated with a bunch of stats like CBI, which is clearances, blocks, interceptions, tackles, help, passing, success rate. A lot of stats go into it, and then the player that has the best collection of all of that is more likely to get the bonus points. Now, goals, of course, and assists also contribute to that, but you do get some players who can score quite regularly and not get any bonus points. So the defenders with the highest bonus point system total, which would contribute to them getting bonus points in the actual FPL point system, Phil Jones has 201. That's 2 more than Cesar Azpilicueta, and then those two are well above Monreal, who has 187 BPS points in total, and then Otamendi has 181, then Ben Davies with 177, Valencia 177, Maguire from Leicester 174, Schindler from Huddersfield 172, Stephen Ward then comes in at 164 for Burnley, and I won't go for too long about that, but that might help you guys with defenders if you're thinking about trying to take advantage of bonus points. If you're wondering why I don't show you the Fantasy Football Scout website and the stats, is because I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I don't want to just give what I've paid them for. I don't want to then just stream out or put in videos without at least me doing the work by getting them from there and then putting them into my own version. So that's why I don't just show you the website. But if they ever agreed to it, I could then show it to you. But that might get some of you to want to join it, but that's another story. Who should I transfer in from Morata? I mean, the safe option for me would be Lukaku. If you don't have a Man City striker, I'd consider them, and then Lacazette. Other than those lot, Harry Kane, of course, if you don't have Harry Kane. You want to be transferring out someone like Morata for someone good. So that would be my take on that. Yep, Ayush Hosselu took way too long to take a shot, and then it got kicked off his shin. But Champs League, Zasalamel 56 is always a risk because of Champs League games. So City mids, I'd say De Bruyne and Silva most likely will play. That's what I can see so far. Danny Rose is nearly back. I'm just hoping he doesn't take Ben Davies' spot. I wish anyone that is free after this stream, if you go to Kenyan YouTube Trends' channel, check out his team, give him some help. We're all in this together at the end of the day. We just want to beat everyone that isn't part of this community. That's how we want to do it. So if anyone is free, there you go. Idea for next international break, just for fun, take the last team before break and score points of goals and assists and clean sheets. Everyone keeps their own score and maybe could stream during some matches. The problem I found with streaming during matches is some people want to watch a match. I don't get much interaction because people are so focused on the game, and also I feel like I miss a lot of the game, so then I can't really talk about it in depth. I did do it for the Community Shield, and I enjoyed it, but then I didn't have much of an opinion on what happened in the game. I had to go and watch it again, so I'm not sure about doing that, Jeff. It's always something I could do when I had more time, but because of work, having to watch a game twice takes up quite a bit of my day. Who am I thinking of bringing in this week? I've not really considered it yet, because basically the problem with the international break is you can have a plan set, and then if you activate it too early, your player can get injured and you have to take minus points. Or if you don't do it early, your player gets injured and then you have to think of another plan. So I've not even thought of a plan yet until the international break is over. I mean, Morata is probably going to get transferred out. Chalobah is probably going to get transferred out. It all depends who I'm swapping Morata with. If I need more cash, which I don't think I do need because I've got 2.1 in the bank, so I can pretty much afford any replacement for him. Then I could get rid of Chalobah. Might have a little bit extra cash left to get someone slightly better. I would like Matt Ritchie, but I doubt that's going to happen. My wife has just responded to my tweet saying don't live stream. That's nice of her, isn't it? She's playing with me, but anyway. Before we carry on, again, just in case anyone out there watching does want to support the channel, and I know I go on about it, but I am trying to make this something of a living for myself, and all the support is absolutely 100% appreciated. There is now a sponsor button underneath this video, or there should be. If you want to become a sponsor of the channel, it's $5 probably a month, not £5. Then you can do that, and that way you're supporting the streams and probably kicking my ass a bit and telling me we want these streams to hurry up and do more of them. So if you want to do that, you can. And of course there's the super chat if you want to support the stream with just one temporary donation, and of course you then get highlighted for everyone to see and your question will be focused on. Back to the questions. Thoughts on Yedlin? I wouldn't risk Yedlin just yet. I've not seen enough of him to really think he's worth considering. My cousin had Monreal, Davis, Kane, Trippier this week. End up with 110 points. Wow. Ayush Falur, he's lucky. Because doubling up on defence is one of those moves that, like last game week, could absolutely skyrocket you. But if they had conceded, well, actually, considering they'd assisted and scored, that didn't matter. But yeah, you could then have a game week where you have rubbish points in your defence. My overall rank is 820 something thousand, 824,721. I've previously been just outside the top 10k, and for the last 2 years I've been in the top 1% of players. But yeah, I've not had the best start this season. Hello, Mourinho, Lampard, Hazard. Lukaku in or out? With Morata injured, I'm liking the look of bringing Lukaku back in because I have the cash for it. What you think of Juan Mata? I need a few more game weeks like the last one before I bring him in, but he would be a great option if he could carry on those point returns. Pogba being out has helped him, I think. Spurs have bad fixtures ahead. Spurs do have bad fixtures ahead, but when you're one of the top 6 teams in the country, I don't necessarily think you have to transfer players out just because of bad fixtures. Harry Kane, for example, I'm pretty sure has a good goal-scoring record against top teams as well as lower teams. And they also have Bournemouth next game week. And then in game week 11, just 2 game weeks after, they've got Crystal Palace. And then after they pass Arsenal, they have, I'd say, 5 favourable fixtures. So I wouldn't necessarily just transfer players out because of that. Their performance against Chelsea was disappointing from that perspective. But I could see Spurs getting points from those games. Harry Kane does score against good teams as well, and it's not August, so I look at the top 6 teams and don't think about fixtures. I think about their point potential, because sometimes you just, like, say if you took out your Man City players out for that Liverpool game, they went and scored 5 goals. Every now and again you get a freak result in games like that. I think Arsenal had one against Chelsea the year before. I had Sanchez and I raked in the point. So I wouldn't necessarily just take players out because they have bad fixtures if they're from a big club. Sterling Silver cutlery. Jeff Holt is the comedian of the flock. Think Sterling Silver should go together. Man City just needs to sign a midfielder called Cutlery, then you have Sterling Silver Cutlery. You're a genius sometimes, mate. Keep Lukaku considering other strikers have injuries. I wouldn't really risk transferring him out with other strikers picking up knocks. You can always make your transfers later. I don't think Eden Hazard is a must-have. I didn't have him at all last season, but he is a good player to have. Your opinion on Sterling? If he could stay in the side and continue this form, he's a great option. But he had this form last season and then it dropped off. So I'm tentatively hoping he can continue that point total, because then he'd be an easy City coverage. I'd go with Shaqiri over Choupo-Moting, Abid Roshan. Is Coutinho worth a punt despite the tough fixtures? Coutinho is a player that can score against big sides as well. If you think Coutinho has underlying stats to play well, I wouldn't not play him just because he's got some tough fixtures around the corner. Sometimes Liverpool perform better against the big sides than they do against the little sides. Is it a worry that Lukaku scored in the last 10 minutes? I'll be honest with you, it's a worry to me that Lukaku isn't scoring more. Because I know Harry Kane isn't exactly set the world alight by putting his chances away. But I feel like Man United have created him so many good chances and he's not really made the most of them. He misses some sitters sometimes, but you know, I think I clearly got something against Lukaku. I don't know what it is. And I apologise for that, because there's no reason why you wouldn't put him in your team the way he's scoring at the moment. I have Davies thinking of bringing a Chelsea defender or Man City. Can you help? I would definitely consider their fullbacks. Azpilicueta is getting some time on the right, with Christensen getting some game time, but I think that might be temporary. But Azpilicueta's looked really good. Man City wise, Otamendi is the cheapest one. He's getting the bonus point system points, so you could go with him. If you have the cash though, Walker looks really good at Man City as well. Had Fellaini in the first bench position for the week and Firmino in the team, was praying he wasn't subbed on. I hate it when that happens, when you have a player and he's in that number one spot, so he's the one that's going to come on, and then a player doesn't start and you think yes, and then they get substituted on. It's so annoying. Firmino out. I mean, we've looked, Vardy's looking good as a straight swap. Then slightly cheaper, Hernandez is still doing rather well in the underlying stats. Anyone else contemplating triple captain on Fellaini? I hope not, but Morata substitute, we've already covered that. We're looking at the main strikers there. Lacazette, Aguero if he's back, Jesus, Lukaku, Kane. No problem, Mitesh Nair. No worries, Z-Vids. Enjoy your workout. Lukaku has an international duty injury scare, so don't bring him in yet. Thank you for the shout, Zaz Lamel. Do I think Kane will hit 13 million this season? Yeah, I think it's definitely possible. Top three strikers the way to go. I wouldn't, for balance of your team, I'd pick the two you think are going to score the most. But if Morata, Lukaku and Kane keep scoring the way they're scoring, when Morata and Lukaku are back, if they are injured, then it might have to be Aguero. Shame we can't just play a 4-striker system. Yesh says Jordan Lukaku is the one who got sent home, not Romelu. So, I don't know. I'm going to have to look that up. I've literally not looked at anything. I've been playing FIFA. If I'm perfectly honest with you guys, I've been playing FIFA. Why Name says hello. Lukaku has 3 tough games. Again, big teams, I don't really worry too much if they have tough fixtures. Although Lukaku, I do believe, doesn't have a great record against the big teams. So that might be something to think about. Hazard, what do you think? I think Hazard's a great player. I'm going to wait until he's match sharp, until I see a performance from him that makes me go, that's the Eden Hazard I remember and want in my side. Jeff Holt, you can be the funny patron. That's not a problem. You've made me laugh quite a few times. Salah, should I keep him or get someone else? Salah's still getting a lot of chances. I'm about to go into some stats in a second about players, so hopefully. Jeff Holt trying to pimp out my channel so he doesn't have to be the new Patreon. True. Where did Fabian Delph come from, Ayush? Where did he come from? I'm not on a wildcard, Tiger Rage. I've already used mine. I mean, if I was going for Vardy or Jesus, if I could get the money for Jesus, I'd probably go Jesus. That's for rated mega. Morata to Rashford. If you think Rashford's going to play, he's definitely performing. But if I can just go into some stats, let's have a look at the forwards. So we've got goal threat for forwards. So as far as goals scored so far this season, we've got Lukaku at 7. We've got Aguero at 6, who's played one less game than Lukaku. We've got Kane at 6. We've got Morata at 6. We've got Vardy at 5. He's a lot cheaper than the 4 players above him. He's also cheaper than Jesus, who scored 4, and Lacazette, who scored 4. Then we've got Hernandez at 3, Okazaki at 3, Welbeck at 3, and then we've got lots of people on 2. My wife is watching me. Thank you very much for watching me. You should be focusing on your darts game, though. But if we go to attempts, Lukaku has had the second most attempts out of any striker in the league. So that is one reason why he's top. And Kane has had the most, and that's why he's scored 6. Aguero's only had 23 attempts compared to Kane's 44 and Lukaku's 31. Morata's only had 21 attempts, and they have both scored 6 goals. Vardy's only had 14 attempts. Now that worries me, but his amount of his shots coming from inside the box is 12, so he doesn't take a lot of long shots. So that is a bonus. We've then got Jesus, who's had 17 attempts. 14 have been inside the box. Lacazette, 16 attempts, 13 from inside. So Vardy is up there, but as far as chances on goal, he's had the least, but he still managed to score 5. That means he has less chances, but his accuracy at the moment is at 57.1, which is better than anyone else. Closest is Lacazette with 50% shot accuracy. So those are the stats behind those strikers there. If you're looking at the cheaper ones, Hernandez at 7 million has scored 3. He has actually had 13 attempts, 1 less than Vardy. His shot accuracy is also above 50%. Okazaki's shot accuracy is at 62.5%. He's only actually had 8 attempts on goal, but he's managed to score 3. If he can up those attempts, then that would help him. Abraham has had 10 attempts and managed to score 2. Firmino, 15 attempts. He's only scored 2 goals. 8 have come from inside the box. So he's not doing as well as his stats suggest he should. Joselu is the one that is defying odds by not scoring. He's had 20 attempts. 15 have come from inside the box. That is better than Vardy, and that is also better than Lacazette. However, his shot accuracy is still 55%, but his goal conversion is 10. So loads of his shots have been saved. So it's not like he's coming up against the world's best keepers. They're good keepers, but if you actually look at his chances, he's being pretty poor. So anyway, back to the questions. Do we think we should keep Mkhitaryan? I do think Mkhitaryan's one we should hold on to a little longer. I could be wrong here, but Morata, because he's injured, his price is locked, I believe. I did know this at the start of the season. I've somehow forgotten it. The drink probably isn't helping. Change Morata and Bertrand for Jesus and Monreal. That's a decent swap. See you later, Thomas. Thanks for joining the stream. I'd say lesser defenders are worth a risk. I'd say Harry Maguire is the one to go for. He's the one that looks like he could get bonus points, and he does tend to run forward with the ball. Delph Young and Milner were England's midfield hopes in 2009. All of them play left back now. Milner's back in midfield, mate. But true. Morata's pretty certain to be out for at least a couple of game weeks. So, but Azpilicueta and Morata seem to have an understanding. I'd bring Shearer in. I wish I played FPL when Shearer was around. Just like I wish I played it properly when Suarez and Sturridge were going ham on the league. Sane Silva said doubling up on Man City. Coutinho, Hazard, Mickey. That's definitely interesting. If you can find 5 midfielders that will outscore, say, 2 strikers, then yeah, that's a good move. Best defenders replace Jones if injured. I think we already had a look. I think Azpilicueta and Monreal were the ones that really stood out. I'm worried about Man U fixtures, but I still want that Man U coverage. I mean, I could just go Man City player and then just hope Man United struggle, because Man City have looked really good. Is Lanzini worth a shout? Let's have a look if I can find him. Has he had any chances created? Antonio, Noble. Has he even been playing? This shows how much I've actually watched West Ham games, because I'm just watching so many games at the moment that I know he didn't play the game I did watch against Huddersfield. I know he was away on international duty, or he came back late from international duty, so he probably got rested. He's played 2 games. Created no chances. Played 73 minutes in total, so that is why he's not got any points yet. I should really know that straight off the top of my head, though, seeing as I'm meant to follow West Ham. Yes, I know players can get locked. But yeah, I think Torres Magic is correct. They can get locked, but Morata hasn't been. And then we've got a Mickey sale. Look, I'll be honest, my whole strategy around team value is I'm not going to make decisions based on players dropping in value. If I think they're going to be good, I'll keep them. If I think I'm going to lose points in the whole season because I make a move early to avoid a price drop, then I'm not going to make the move. I would rather end up with 101 million squad value and a top 10k ranking than 105 million squad value and a top 20k ranking. However, at the end of the game, when a lot of points can be scored, that extra squad value does help, of course. So, of course, it is a balancing act, but I don't like making a move early and then having to take minus points hits. So, if he really drops, like serious drops, which I doubt, then I might do something about it. But at the moment, I'm not going to make the move early. Thank you, Craig Manuel. Good to see you too. Do you think Trippier is worth the rotation risk? I think Trippier is more likely to be rotated with Aurier than Davies is to be rotated with Son and then Rose when he comes back, because Rose will still need to get back to match sharpness. So depending on who Spurs have in their European games and in their cup games, I can see Rose playing in the big... No, sorry, Davies playing in the big Premier League games. Max Chitterin doubled up on Arsenal defence, which has really helped him out. That was a good call, mate. I'm not going to go into... I might do that as a video, like a separate video, but that would take some time going over stats if I was going to do a best wildcard team. I agree, Ishfala. A player scored 11 points and he wasn't even in the FPL game. Morata's probably Lukaku, but well, I'm going to wait and see. I would like a Man City striker, so Jesus could be an option. Abu Hassan, evening. Unfortunately, though, I do believe I will be ending the stream now because I do have some housework to do. Still got to be a good house husband sometimes. I'm really not a good house husband, just for the record. I do my best, but I'm not a cleany, freaky person. Cleany, freaky person. Anyway, the stream's gone on for 54 minutes. I'm going to try and keep these streams under an hour-ish, so I can put them up as a video as well for people to watch. So that is where I'm sitting on the live streams and everything like that. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. I'm apologising to the people that are asking questions. Just quickly try and answer them. Hazard, Rashford or Sterling and Jesus? I'll go Hazard and Rashford because that's better team coverage. Best possible £5 midfield, 5 million midfielder. Is it Atsu? I think he's around that price. He looks like he could get onto the end of some of Matt Ritchie's balls. Matt Ritchie or Pascal Gross? I'll go with Matt Ritchie because he's played in the Premier League more, although Pascal Gross has a good record of assists from his previous league. Are you planning on getting rid of Alonso for Jones, free up more cash? I'm planning on getting rid of Alonso, which would free up more cash. I'm not sure if it will be for Jones, might be for Monreal. Need to get rid of Rooney. What's your thoughts on forwards in that bracket? 7 million. Hernandez would be my thoughts. Maria likes the idea of a guy doing housework. I don't do much of it, Maria, so don't think I'm any better than any other man. Do you think what we have got our maximum price value off, Mickey? Maybe. That is definitely a good shout, Max. And there we go. Before another question is asked, I'm going to sign off. So once again, thank you guys so much for tuning in, as always. If you want to support the channel, the best way to do it, especially on streams, is a super chat or the sponsor button that should be below this stream, where you can donate $5 a month, which will help support the stream and the channel in general. There's also plenty of other links, and also if you want a fantasy football magazine delivered to your door every month, there is a link to the Fantasy Football Magazine website where you can get a subscription with more tips from more experts that probably know a little bit better than me. I'm not going to leave Devshit hanging. I can't do it. Transfers, £5 million midfielders. But this is the last one. You're ruining my sign-off, though. Midfielders, 5.4. I mean, Atsu's 5.1. I was close. March has looked good, but I wouldn't really go with him. I mean, to be honest, there's no one that I'd have massive faith in. I know that's not the answer you want. Davies has looked good when he started, and Diddy can get some points. Fur can get some points. Decore has really returned, but he's at 5.3, which seems to be a bit too much. Davis has looked really good. I think Davis might be my shout. Played 60 minutes or more in every game, and there's an 11-point return there and a 5-point return there. But to be honest, none of those players really jump out at me. Anyway, I am now going, guys, so if you haven't already and you're watching this stream, subscribe to the channel, hit that like button on this video, and then hit the like button when this stream video goes up as its own video as well. And that's it. So, I've been J&O, this has been FPL Today. I almost forgot my catchphrase, and remember, it's all about the game.